There can be only one podcast, and may it be mine, the Prince of the Universe. Hi folks, I'm Matt. By myself, a little bit better now than I was last week. True story, I was going to record two podcasts because Wes can't be here till next week. And he's bringing an old acquaintance of mine, which I'm very excited to have. It's going to be some really good shows coming up. But last week, still getting over the cold a little bit. Said, okay, I'll do this podcast is going to be New Year's, Happy New Year's. And I was going to tell some New Year's stories. But I had just finished the Marvels. It was fresh in my head. And I said, you know what? Let me go with the Marvels first. And if I feel good enough, I'll do a second one. And by the end of that first one, I was like, you know what? I can't even, it's hard. I'm just tired. Let me just go to bed. So I went to bed and I said, I'll come up with something different. Well, I didn't, because I kept talking in my head. I kept talking about this idea I had, talking about a little bit about New Year's, my experience with New Year's. Because I don't think I've told about the parties. I've talked about the parties a little bit. I don't think I talked about what I used to do as a kid. And I have a few more things to say about the parties too. But so I decided to go ahead and do that. So we kind of reversed these a little bit. Probably should have put the Marvels this week. And, last week should have recorded this one. But Marvels was just fresh in my mind. And, man, I can forget a movie like that now. In fact, ask me about the Marvels right now. I've forgotten half of it. And, yeah, it was not good. It was not a good movie, but that's also a lot of movies. Life goes on. I just forget what happened when. But anyway, today, talk about New Year's. Now, everyone knows I used to throw a New Year's party every other year. It used to be big. We'd stay up all night. I remember one night my roommate had come in at 12, I think. His had wrapped up. It was like 12:30. They watched the ball drop. They give cheers of champagne. Then they go home. And when he came home, my party's going. And at 2, it was 1 or 2 in the morning, he came up to me. He's like, how much longer do you think this will go? And I looked at him. I was like, dude, all night long. I didn't know he was asking it so he could go to bed. I responded, all night long, yeah. Like it was a big idea. And then I realized with the horror on his face, that is not the answer he wanted. And I felt awkward and didn't say anything until last year. I saw him for the first time in like 20 years. He was at this wake I attended. And I said, hey, look, I'm so glad you're here. I wanted to apologize to you. He said, for what? I said, that New Year's party years ago, you asked me when it was going to end, asking it to, politely asking, hey, I want to go to bed. And I responded all night long like it was a party answer. And I said, that has bothered me for years. I don't have his number. And so, and I don't have Facebook to track him down. So I finally was able to apologize. He said, oh, don't worry about it. He said he had a good time. He said he was glad. He did stay up. He was tired, but he ended up having a really good time. And I'm glad because most people had a good time at my parties. One person didn't. It ended one of my friendships. One of my buddies doesn't talk to me anymore. He's from Canada. And he's a good guy. I love him to death. And I actually we have mutual friends. And on Labor Day, he and my mutual friends all go out. And they rent out this house. Big, nice house, like a mansion. Honestly, it's a mansion. It had a basketball court inside of it and all this stuff. So they rent this big house for the weekend and just kind of party all weekend. Well, I sent a video message to the girl, and I said, hey, give this to, Chad. And so I gave a message saying, hey, man, it's been years. Miss you. Give me a call sometime, yada, yada, yada. And, she said, okay, I gave him the message. He was like, yeah. And you could tell on her face that he was like, no, he was not talking to me. He's not interested in being friends. And I guess he's just holding a grudge. And the thing is, what happened? He was at a New Year's party. And I had friends from Michigan, friends from Canada, friends from Arkansas, Texas, Mississippi, everywhere. Florida. I had some friends from Florida there. I had a buddy of mine from Kentucky come down. And who knows who else. I mean, people, this was the year. I can't remember I don't know what was going on. Maybe they didn't have families here. They were just coming in to hang out. And so that's when it was my annual or every other year annual New Year's party. And he and my buddy from Kentucky clashed. their personalities were not the same. Now, my buddy from Kentucky, I love him to death. His name's Spencer, and I still talk to him all the time. We only talk during football season, college football season. And I mean, every once in a while we'll talk here and there. But he's such a good guy. He's become I'm a little bit of an Auburn fan because my mom's side of the family went to Auburn. My dad went to Alabama, so my entire family is Alabama. Personally, I don't really like Alabama, and not just because I'm an Auburn fan. But anyway, my buddy Spence has slowly become an Auburn fan as I cannot recall. I think his little brother went to Auburn and now has season tickets, and now they all go. And so Spencer's a Notre Dame fan, but I think he has converted because he is all Auburn now, or at least this year. We've talked more Auburn football than he didn't even mention Notre Dame this year. He was just talking about Auburn. So maybe he's joined the dark side here. I say dark side because I hate our coach. Anyway, I don't want to get into sports here. I know this is not a sports podcast, but I hate Hugh Freeze. I hate him. It's hard to watch Auburn. It's hard to watch Auburn because I just hate that he's a sleazebag. So the moment he leaves, the happier I'll be. But anyway, Spence and I have always been good friends. And supposedly he said or did something and they got into a little scuffle. Jad took it the wrong way. I don't know, but Jad's like, he's a friend of Matt's and he was staying at my house, and Jad wasn't. He was staying with some other friends. But I guess he's like, well, with friends like that, I don't know. But he was very offended by my friend, and I still don't know. My buddy Spencer doesn't know what happened either. He said I was just joking around with him, then he attacked me or whatnot. Who knows, right? Two sides to every story. But anyway, so it lost me friends. It gained me probably lots of friends. I met people for the first time ever at my party. There was a crazy woman that Benjamin from Saturday Morning Salmon Flange and I both know. First time I ever met her, she showed up to my party. I had no idea who she was. Everyone was saying, who's she? I was like, I have no idea. And then later on, she told me who she was and who she was friends with. And her friend said, go over and see Matt. Matt's a really good guy. She was having guy problems, I remember. And so she was telling me about her guy problems, and she was drunk too. Yay! What every guy wants to spend his New Year's doing. So she was annoying when I first met her. And we became, were we ever friends? Yeah, I guess we were friends for a little while. Friends on and off. I mean, if I see her around town, which I have, I saw her last year. I said hello to her and we talked for a little bit. I think she has kids in the theater now, so we talked. But, I mean, she was always just annoying. And the weird thing is, the guy that she married was a friend of mine, too, and he knew that we kind of always made fun of her because she always had drama, and she always was, sorry, but she got around. She had one boyfriend and then dumped him for someone else and left him for someone else and cheated on him for someone else, and she got around, and we were like, oh, man, this girl is just crazy. And then she found my buddy and they got married. I was like, whoa, okay. That's weird because you were making fun of her too. But, oh well. But they were the perfect match because they're still together for years later. So I guess it finally happened. But either way, man, crazy times with all the parties. And the parties that didn't go. When I did not have my own party, I hated the other party. I hate to be mean like that. But we go to other parties. There were these two sisters that threw parties. They were fine. They were okay. I don't drink. So that there's all these different alcohols, all these different mixed drinks. I bet it was a great bar, a great wet bar. All I want is a Coke. And unless someone's having rum and Coke, that's the only reason they have Cokes for the rum, or the Crown or something. And I don't know. And I'm more about the food, even though it's kind of weird. I say that mine didn't have any food, And mine, it was bring your own beer too. So, but I never really watch fireworks go off. I think the city has some go off every New Year's. I don't know. I don't pay attention to that. But the only time I set them off was in high school. And this is the story that I really wanted to tell because I realized I never told this before. In high school, there used to be one family that lived out in the country who had a huge party every year. And every year we'd go to it. It was so much fun because it was a bunch of bonfires. It'd be like 3 or 4 bonfires out in their fields. And everyone would get, there's several people who'd come. And they'd gather around the bonfire, talk for a bit. And as the night went on, they all moved into the house. All the adults did. And then they let the kids shoot fireworks. They'd brought some fireworks, some Roman candles and stuff, and then the kids could do it. We were not supervised. You better believe that bottle rockets got thrown at each other. We shot Roman candles at each other. This is not safe. You should not do this. But boy, howdy, did we shoot people. And it was so much fun. Me and my buddy got snuck up on the barn roof and were hitting people with Roman candles, and they could not figure out where we were because we were kind of positioned on the roof and just kind of let it fall around. I'm like, where's it coming from? They're on the other side of the barn. And they'd run on the other side of the barn. We shoot from that side too. They go, how are they doing this? Because they didn't see. We kind of just sneak over one roof to the next. And then finally someone realized we were on the barn roof. So what they did, and this is not smart, is they all pointed their candles around. They surrounded the barn, pointed the Roman candles up, and we saw several of them fall, like these fiery death angels on us. Now, the barn roof was a tin roof, okay? But the sides were wood and everything, so they could have caught something on fire. Probably not the best idea, but I'll be honest, we jumped off that roof, man. There were so many fireworks falling down around me. Yikes. The biggest time, the most time I got in trouble, and we almost got seriously injured, but we used to jump over the bonfire. Yeah, that's never a good idea. But we'd take turns. It was always cool. The girls were out there watching. So you wanted to, I don't know if the girls were watching us, but we'd, make poses, do kicks, and that was really all you could do. But you'd run and jump over the fire and jump. And then we did coordinated jumps. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'd do that. Well, one person would call out our numbers as we'd run and jump. And during one of the jumps, one person, my buddy Patrick, he had gotten his number wrong, and he jumped the same time as me. And we met mid-air, exactly over the bonfire. And we both fell into the bonfire. Now, he knocked me over. So he was over faster, so he kind of bulldozed me over. And so I fell backwards, he fell forwards. He fell into the fire, face first. He had to go to the hospital. He had some bad burns. Other than that, some singed hair and stuff like that, and some patching up, he's fine. Me, I fell leg first. Someone dragged me out. They dragged us out immediately once we fell in. And I didn't have to go to the hospital. My shoes were melted, I remembered, and I didn't feel it. I had some slight burns. I don't know what degree burn it is when it feels like a never-ending sunburn, because that's what it felt like. And at first they thought I needed to go to the hospital, but they decided not because my skin wasn't blistering like Patrick's was. Patrick's was blistering, and mine was just super red and super sensitive. And I think they put aloe vera on it or something like that. I can't remember, but I remember for maybe a week or so I hurt. It was like it was everlasting sunburn is what it felt like forever. But it ruined my socks, it ruined my shoes, and it ruined my pants too. It burned my clothes, but it didn't burn me that bad. Well, it burned my pants so bad that my parents made me take off my pants. Now, this is the 90s. Guys weren't wearing boxers. Everyone was wearing whitey-tighties back in the day. I didn't switch to boxers. Let me think. My mom bought us boxer briefs, and we wore those. And none of us liked boxers. And then, I don't know why, but eventually we made the switch to boxers. Not that you really needed to know that right now, but we made the switch to boxers. And probably during my early high school days, because I would have boxers and boxer briefs. And I still love the boxer briefs, but eventually you have to say goodbye to your briefs, And they were just better and loose. I like loose clothing on me, so I was like, yeah. But at this point, I was still in the whitey-tighties. I was 15, 16 probably, and still sporting the whitey Fruit of the Looms. So I had to strip down, which was embarrassing, and then walk to the car and sit in the car. Now, I was cold from the bottom down, and I was pissed. My parents were saying goodbye, wrapping up everyone, apologizing for their stupid son ending the party like that. We're ending the party for the other family. The other family was the host, the kid. They had to take him to the hospital, so the party ended early. I got in trouble, of course, for it, but I was just so mad. It was so cold, I was so cold. The seats are cold. Everything's cold when you're not wearing pants in the winter. But I was more just so ashamed. I was so embarrassed that everyone saw me strip down. Even the girls did. to my whitey toddies as I went back to the car. I mean, the ultimate walk of shame is what it was. But I remember when their party eventually ended. I remember when they stopped. I don't know if that was the last year. I need to make sure that wasn't the last year. It may have been. But they never did it again. And it's sad because those were really good memories. Not shooting firecrackers at each other, even though I did enjoy that. But just being there. And one of the things that I didn't get to do with my girls, and here's, this past Christmas time, was roast marshmallows over a fire. Something that me and my parents did all the time. We had a real fire going in our house. Real fireplace. We have a gas fire place. It works, but it's gaslit. That sucker gives off zero heat, though. Zero heat. It does not heat up the room one square diddly squat. It's just there to look pretty. And but you can still roast marshmallows over it, and I didn't think about that. And roasting marshmallows would be fun. So we get coat hangers, back when they were wire coat hangers, you'd twist them and then make them into coat hangers. But I know they sell the little iron stickers, because I remember one year Dad got us those. I was like, what's the fun in this? But there's that perfect, and why am I not doing that now with my kids? You're like, Matt, come on, it's wintertime. You can do it anytime. A, it's more of a Christmas tradition for me, and then B, I'm on a diet, so I can't have marshmallows right now. I am not, and I'll get to this in a minute, but anyway, marshmallows is what I want to do. When they're perfectly brown on all sides, that's when they're the best. Perfectly brown. Nice. I peel off that layer of skin and eat it. The best thing in the world. Marshmallow skin. Toasted marshmallow skin. Big giant marshmallows too. And then the other marshmallows are like ooey, gooey, and warm. So they're really good too. And yes, we did put them with graham crackers. We did not heat chocolate up because my mom and dad knew that was going to be a mess. They had that little chocolate heater thing they tried, but it was still a mess and Dad never bothered with it. But it doesn't matter because, really, graham cracker with gooey, ooey, warm marshmallow is just delish. So why am I on a diet? I usually go on a diet every year, and this year I was not going to go on the diet, but I'm an idiot, and during my Christmas vacation, I went to get my doctor's checkup. I haven't seen my doctor in like 4 years, they found out. I hadn't had a checkup. And so he goes, okay, we're going to do the checkup. We're going to do the blood sample. I was like, cool. Oh, man, never get a checkup with a blood sample on Christmas or around Christmas. Not for me. Because on Halloween, after Halloween, I eat whatever I want. And that's sweets. That's lots of pumpkin pie. And lots of pumpkin pie. That's lots of eggnog. That's every all the girls, a lot of the girls' Halloween candy was eaten over those first few weeks of November. And then there's candy everywhere because the work brought candy from their kids' house. I ate that candy too. So honestly, for the 3 weeks leading up to Thanksgiving, I ate candy all the time. And so I'm eating sweet. I'm never eating good. And I always do that. And then I always go on a hardcore diet for 2 months. That's always been my tradition. But this year I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just not going to do the diet. But when my blood test came in, when I tell you that triglycerin level was through the roof, I've been doctored ordered to get on a low carb to no carb diet. Now, I've been eating all the good foods that lower that cholesterol or whatever it is. So, and I was feeling fine before then. I wasn't feeling bad. I wasn't like, oh, I'm going to have a heart attack, but supposedly the levels are super high. And of course they're going to be. I mean, nothing but candy and sweets and fried foods. Never good. Never good. So I'm off that. I don't know how long I'll be on it. I know end of February, oddly enough, is when I have to go back and get my blood test. My vitamin D levels need to be up, which they're always down because in the winter we don't go outside as much. We don't get that natural vitamin D, so you're always supposed to take vitamin D in the winter. So my vitamin D is low and my whatever triglycerides are high. So needs to be a difference in between those when he sees them. And I think knowing Dr. Mike, my doctor is very particular, and I want to please him. He's a good guy. He's friends with my wife. If you don't pay attention to him and the levels are still up, he is going to give you the E. He's going to give he puts his glasses on the edge of his nose and kind of looks at you. And I don't want to have the look of hate from him. So I'm really trying really well to get those levels down. I've done the hardcore before. He doesn't know that. He thinks I'm not going to be able to do it because not many people can do it, and I'm going to be on this for a long time. But I'm going to show them in 2 months. I can do it. And will I get completely off? No. I'll baby step myself. Because that's what I did this past year, and it worked really well. I didn't really gain that much weight, as much weight as you usually do. Because I ate pretty proper, unless it's those last 2 months of the year. And I put on a little pudge the last 2 months. Won't lie. The jeans I was wearing, this is very weird, the jeans I was wearing I could barely fit into around Christmas. And now, not even a week into the diet, I think, it has been a week into the diet now. I'm having to put a belt on already. So, that's really good. I never weigh myself. I just go by belt size. But I've never had the belt be loose in a week's time. Usually it takes 2 to 3 weeks for the belt to be loose, and then I'm just absolutely shredding pounds after that. But for whatever reason, I had to put a belt on. It's not, it's not, it's tight with the belt. But pretty soon I'll be squeezing them belt loops. How many belt loops do I have to go? Oh, just 2 belt loops to where I was. I need 2 belt loops to get back to where I was prior to Halloween. I was maybe 1 belt loop. 1 belt loop away from Halloween. 2, that's what it is. I'm feeling the crease now. Feel that crease in the belt. So 1 loop to get back to where I was prior to Halloween, and 2 loops to get back to where I was after I got off my original diet last year. I'm looking to get that 1 loop, and that's really it. I'm not going to go for 2 loops, but I am really wanting to make my doctor happy. So, anything and everything that drops the numbers, I'm doing. So it's been fun. And by the way, I love sardines. So sardines don't bother me. My little girl ate sardines with me, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. I didn't know she liked sardines. I've tried all of them. I went to the store, grabbed like 2 of each pack. They have them with mustard, which I don't ever remember seeing ever, and the mustard is completely tasteless. Like, there's no taste to the mustard. It's really weird. And it's hard to find the bits of sardine in there, so I don't like the mustard. Not because it tastes weird, just, it doesn't taste at all. And I think the little olive oil one is pretty decent. And then, of course, hot sauce. Louisiana hot sauce. Got to have Louisiana hot sauce. Now, to be fair, I used to eat sardines all the time. I used to make a sardine sandwich, man. Put some sardines and what else I put on it? Pickles, I think. And I'd eat it. And I had the best time with that. I loved it. So, and it made me, eating sardines again makes me kind of wish that I kind of had my old sardine sandwiches back. It's just kind of a weird thing. You see it at the supermarket, and you're like, who buys those? I don't know. Old people, maybe. I haven't bought them in years, but I just happen to think about sardines. They have those omega-3s, which are really good. I tried them. It's a good snack. It's a cheap snack. These things are like $1.50, so that's not bad. I kind of want to pick up one now, to be honest. So, and I may pick up some tomorrow. Who knows? But and I'm off even the zero cola. I'm not trying. I'm a big cola guy, but I've decided to get off. Maybe that's why I'm seeing results so fast. I'm not drinking any cola right now. I will have the occasional energy drink, but so far in a week's time, I've only had 2. No, I had a 3rd one. That counts. That was New Year's Eve. So that does not count. So, yeah, I had one New Year's Eve. So I've only had like 2 since New Year's Eve. So that's not bad. 2 or it's 2. So yeah, it's been really good. So I've even been knocking off those. Now I had stopped doing the energy drinks a long time ago because bangs are nowhere to be found, and a Ghost Energy, which is my second favorite, is really expensive. So, I'll kick the habit. Even Cokes are going up in price. So I hardly drink any colas, zero colas. I used to drink zero colas all the time on my diet because that was my sweet treat. That was my dessert. And now I just go without it. Maybe that is what's happened. What's helping me lose a little bit more weight faster, because I know the cola probably isn't the best for me. There's probably some dietitian listening going, "Yes, Matt, it's awful for you." Okay, I got it. Other than that, though, and it is kind of funny because every New Year's, you're thinking, Matt, every New Year's? Yeah, usually I don't start January 1st the diet. I wait till after Christmas on January 5th or January 6th to do it. And then sometimes I wait for my sister's birthday is on January 9th, so if we're doing something, I'll wait till after there. last year I had to wait till late January, which really sucked. But that's because I was going on a trip and didn't want to be on a work trip and didn't want to be on a diet during the work trip. So other than that, though, and I may go on another trip. Who knows? I may be traveling, folks, to a city near you. I don't know. I don't know. I say that, but my department, we used to do tons of travel, and we don't anymore. And that's why in the original Matt's Expanded Universe, you'd see me at different locations. Like, I had to film in Phoenix for like a few months straight because I was there. I was just like living there for so long. And then I think I did a few more Matt's Expanded Universes. I remember I was in Tennessee and filmed a few there. I filmed a lot of them around a fountain in Columbus, Ohio, and someone recognized where exactly it was and said they wish they had known me back then. They would have joined me. That's my favorite place to be, over there in Columbus, Ohio, in the summer. I would never go up there in the winter. But anyway, and to be honest, we haven't had any snow here. I hope we don't. It is the beginnings of Mardi Gras season, and people go nuts over Mardi Gras. I may be talking more about Mardi Gras with Wes later on, so I'll save that subject for later. But anyway, yeah, that was my those are some of New Year's memories I wanted to say. Do I do resolutions? I do. This year's, and now I only do one, a big one, and stick to it. This year's is to get rid of more junk out of the house. We just have so much junk. I'm going to go dig through the girls' toys eventually and throw away that, but that's easy stuff. There's a lot of stuff in the garage, a lot of things, just junk, the clutter. You know, this house was empty. You know, we had empty rooms like 2 years ago, empty closets when we first moved here, and now it's just overflowing with junk. How do you get that much junk in 2 years? So it's time to trim. You know, I don't know anyone here who buys DVDs, but I want to sell off most of my DVD collection, or just trade it away and get something in return. You know, but I don't think our Books A Million does that anymore. I don't know. I have to check and see. I never go to Books A Million. Who goes to Books A Million when you have Amazon? But either way, that's probably my one and only New Year's resolution is to, well, yeah, I also want to build up my endurance because I really want to be better in the Santa Bowl, because now, where I used to be one of the bottom tier players, I'm a top tier player now. Yeah, we have a lot of out-of-shape people on our team. My nephew thinks I'm the second fastest person on the team, but that's because I almost sacked him a couple of times. So he's trying to stroke his own ego too. But honestly, I think I'm third fastest, and maybe I could be fastest if I had a little bit more endurance and a little more pep in my step. So that's kind of the other thing, is to get a little bit more cardio in. And I don't know when I'm going to be able to go to the gym or anything like that, but maybe next time I push around the babies when it warms back up, I jog a little or something. I don't know. Something to improve my cardio is really what I want. But definitely declutter. There's just tons of junk that we don't need anymore, that we don't, use. I got rid of a whole box full of Christmas stuff this year. It felt really good. Really good. I've been trying. We bought like maybe 2 little things for Christmas. So we used to just buy tons of Christmas stuff, and now my wife really doesn't do it. In fact, Christmas stuff gets sold the week before Christmas now, or the week of Christmas. It really went the day after Christmas sale. It's just all the little piddly leftovers, if you ask me. It's really nothing that nice. So my wife and I don't do that much after Christmas shopping. In fact, this is the year we didn't do it together. I just went out and went to a few stores, and that was it. Found like 2 things total for next Christmas. So really condensing on all the boxes I have to bring down every year. It's a gargantuan amount of boxes, but every year it kind of I've successfully got rid of a box every year. Now this year I probably won't, but anything I can consolidate for Christmas stuff, I will. And but other than that, other things that need to be decluttered around the house for sure. Anyway, let me know. Do you have a New Year's resolution? Let me know. And what do you think about New Year's? What did you do for New Year's? Let me know all that. As I said, next week, Wes, and an old acquaintance I have not met in probably 15, 20 years, is coming. I can't wait to talk to both of them. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to find out what Wes has been up to. I know everyone's super excited about that. I've even thought, and we've talked about it, I am going to have another guest back on the show. He hasn't been on the show in a while, and we talked about having him on because he gets friggin' coffee like a quarter mile down the street from me almost not every day, but a lot of days. And I didn't know this till recently. So I'm going to have him over back on the channel too. I won't say who. I'll leave that a surprise. But I'll see you next week on Princes of the Universe.